right. Kristen, we're here again and again and again. We're going to always be here, aren't we?
We are always. We're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere.
Not
so
going
if you want us to go somewhere,
Can't
just
make
turn
me.
off your channel because it's not happening. It's on you. Rob Reaper's sitting here with me today. This guy right here, me and him go way back, okay? Way back. We were just talking, discussing culinary world, all things culinary, burnt hands perspective. We talk about everything from dishwashers all the way up to the bar to getting wasted on a line. And then we move over to other parts of the fields of
Industry.
Professionalism, growth, everything to now a COO, Mr. Rob here. So this is an amazing thing, bro. So we started in 1997. We were trying to calculate 98. So we started in 1998, and this shows the diversity of my realm in the culinary world because at that time I was front of the house, and you were back of the house. And
you had a great surfboard shirt, I believe. Or
yeah,
maybe a parrots on it.
Something like
Probably.
that. It was horrible.
Shirt.
What they made us wear is part of my trauma. You know what I mean? I PTSD from that.
From surfing
the S's
and having to
shirt.
wear that shirt. Kind of like the flare in the movie, if you had enough flare on your vest.
Kind of, man. It was cheesy as fuck. They made us wear these black shorts, black sneakers, and these ridiculous rayon shirts that had like parrots and surfboards and shit on them. It was
Should
ridiculous.
have saved that. That would have been nostalgic.
It was almost like the old surf style jackets, remember?
Oh,
The
yeah.
old surf style shit.
A hypercolor.
Hypercolor, shit like that. So anyway,
Color's the best.
you come in, we're all sitting there. They want to make an announcement. At the time, Chuck Sass was a great chef. At the time, he was running the whole place. Still is involved quite.
Just saw him a couple days ago. He's getting ready to retire in November.
Wow. We're talking about guys retiring when they were just starting when I met them.
Yep.
I'm getting old. So Chuck brought you in to the kitchen, and this was Mahi Maz. So this was a huge turnover, just people coming in from everywhere. It was like the hypocenter of Virginia Beach dining at the time in the 90s. I mean, this place on a Sunday was absolutely mobbed. We were making $1,000 on a double shift as a waiter in 1998.
It was insane.
It was insane.
One of the highest grossing restaurants in Virginia at the time.
Ever. And probably, I'd put that up against other states too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So what happened was we had this guy come in. Chef wanted to make an announcement. We have a new guy coming in, and let's talk about what he said. Let's throw this out there.
It was terrible. It was. I came in as I think a PM kitchen supervisor. Moved here Friday Memorial Day weekend, and started at Maz on Saturday. And my introduction to the line was by Chuck, who was also a fellow CIA grad. He looked down the line of, this is when Johnson Wales was still in Norfolk.
So you graduated from Culinary Institute of America.
Yes, sir.
Right.
And he looked down the line and said, hey guys, I have a question. What does a Johnson Wales grad call a CIA grad? And I'm like, oh boy, this is not going to be good. And he looks down and goes, boss. And I'm like, oh God, this is my introduction. Yeah.
They immediately hate you.
But that was funny because I was there for that.
Yeah.
And I remember that. It's crazy. I mean, this was in 1998, and here you are sitting here now. So between our lives, right? Our lives from 1998 to now, crazy.
Yeah, a lot has changed.
You know?
Well, you met him, but it was a year before I met you. So,
Yeah.
around the same time. We all came up through so many changes in the industry and watching it go up and down and the beach.
Yeah, and it was a windy path to get here, too. I know we've all seen some things, but man, I think we've all changed as people. And, I mean, my career path has changed because of family.
Well, yours changed a lot.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we're going from, when we was talking about being in the kitchen, and when did you actually leave the kitchen as a chef? When was the last time you were chefing in a kitchen?
Well, so I did 4 years. My first 4 years at Maz was as the executive chef. And then I wanted to learn the other side of the business. So made a split-second shotgun decision. My soon-to-be wife didn't even know about it. Went in and I think we had just opened Rockfish, and Johnny K had given his notice, and I said, I walked into Chuck's office after a manager meeting. I said, I want his job. And it was like midsummer. And he's like, all right. And I had pretty much had 30 days to learn what I needed to learn and hire my replacement, which was Kevin Sharkey.
Yeah.
In order to go to Rockfish. And
You know what's funny about that? Johnny K gave his notice, and then so did I. And I think a lot of people did.
Yep.
Because he was a great guy.
Yep.
He was a great leader.
Yep.
And I don't remember exactly what happened to him to make him give that notice. I don't remember if it was life or if it was something workforce related. I don't remember because I was probably high or fucking drunk or something back then. So I don't remember why, but I just remember that when he did, it was the big uproar because we were all young and we all followed the leader type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, and that was the first part of kind of the disbanding of our team because we had just an amazing management team, and then that was followed by the Hilton opening. And while the Hilton was opening, I got to do other stuff like I opened Pizzeria and Tortugas, and then managed to come back to Maz before I left. So
yeah, you have your hands in some really good spots down there, and a lot of them are based around the seafood world, and things like that, just because of where we are at the beach. So the Virginia Beach is synonymous for what we have indigenously, and that's seafood.
Yeah,
oysters, crabs, stuff like that. So moving up to that, so you started right out the gate as the guy. So when you got into that, we're going to talk about that just for a minute because it's intriguing, I think, to anybody listening, that when you start, you come out of the CIA, you go in there Memorial Day weekend, which is the weekend, and you're saying, okay, here you go. What now? How old were you right then?
Well, so I was 21. So I was about a year out of culinary school.
And how long did it take you to realize that, holy shit, there's a lot going on in this kitchen right now, and there's a lot of people who already know what the fuck they're doing, and I got to figure this out so I can be a boss, but yet I got to ask them what I'm doing.
Well, I was just a PM kitchen manager, supervisor, whatever. So my job description was do whatever Fred does. So Fred was the sous chef at the time,
right?
And so I followed Fred around, and you probably remember our chef, who was Thomas, the New York real loud mouth. All I could hear is him in my sleep screaming. But we going right into that, it was an eye opener. I mean, we were doing 1,000 covers a night, and
for real,
it was just a complete ass kicker.
People don't realize what that means when you say 1,000 covers a night. That means you cooked 2,000 things. The people don't understand that when you have a cover, they're eating more than one thing. They're having a bunch of stuff. 1,000 covers a night in a restaurant, not a banquet, not a hall, not a dining wedding party. We're talking about a fucking restaurant. You turn on the damn computer, you punch in your orders, and they come in the tickets. And I remember ticket line, the rail for the ticket line was absurd.
You hear it in your sleep.
And the tickets were still
That's
coming
your
out in 20 minutes.
PTSD.
Yeah.
But we still had 20, 25, 30-minute ticket times at most.
Right. And
Cranking it. Just cranking it.
Well, and you had the sushi bar going off. You had raw bar going off in a separate part. You had a banquet going out the back door on the other end of the building. It was
right.
And then the kitchen was half the size.
Half the size.
Wow.
So
it was a line.
It was one line. And
would you have like 12, 16 burners?
With a turkey pot burner on the back that we cooked wings in a big pot.
Yeah, with the thermometer in it. To make sure, just keep dumping oil.
It was nuts.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
So,
that's crazy. People don't realize what we have to do sometimes as chefs to compromise or improvise.
But you made it happen.
You make it happen.
Make it happen.
So the turkey pot, people don't understand this either. Frying food on a turkey pot is very hard because that shit, as soon as you put wings in it, that temperature drops.
And we were boiling.
Oh, you're boiling them.
Because we poached our wings and then chilled them, then filled the pot up again and poached them about 10 times.
You had to.
Oh my gosh.
There was no way. You couldn't cook them fast enough the other way.
Yeah, I'm
So
not
you had
sure.
to poach them. There's not a lot. There's a lot of people that actually do that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's better, I believe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you poach them properly, you get a lot more moist wing at the end.
Yeah, because we breaded them and then par fried them and then
And cook and sold them like maniacs, man. But that's when wings were like
25 cent
25
clams,
cent.
oysters, and wings.
yeah.
Oh my
That was costing us back in the day. A pound of wings was what, $2 maybe?
Yeah,
$1 something.
Yeah, and
junk.
that's when we had lobsters for $9.99. Prime rib and lobster night for $9.99.
Yeah. Imagine that now.
Thinking about it.
Right.
I don't even know who's selling prime rib right now, let alone for $9.99.
Yeah, it's.
I was talking to my chef Andrea last night, my sous chef here, chef de cuisine, and we were talking about going to get a nice piece of prime rib. And we're like, where do you even go around here to get a good piece of prime rib? Where? Who has that anymore? Is it like Baked
There's
Alaska?
specials. I've seen specials pop up at a couple
Yeah,
places.
but they're usually one night.
It's like one night a week. It's not all
prime
the
rib
time.
day. Yeah, we
They
need some
have
prime
prime
rib in
rib
this
one
one.
night a week.
Yeah, you're not getting a fresh.
And you're not getting it for $9.99.
Right, and normally if you're eating prime in a restaurant, it's not a prime rib that was cooked or cooked at the beginning of the night. It was probably cooked the day before, and they're just bringing up the temp in some au jus or whatever.
Something, that they're doing. So I mean, yeah,
It's hard to find.
it is for sure.
So when you said you went to Johnny K, right? You did that. You took on that job. So that was a manager.
I was the GM operating partner of Rockfish. Yeah.
So that makes you out of the kitchen
Yep.
and more into the finances. Is that what led you into going to? Let's talk about Taste where you are now, because that's a huge road too. How you've been there for how many years?
Well, yeah. So I've been at Taste for 10 and a half years, but before that I was with Sysco for 9.5 years. So
Right, you were a
that was a
Sysco,
whole
right.
nother.
That was a whole nother venue.
That's when I went back
So-
to the kitchen.
But now you're the COO. So now what that means is you had to go from the kitchen to Sysco, or sorry, to the front of the house GMing,
Yep.
and then from there out of the restaurant completely, selling back to the kitchen in Sysco. Then from Sysco moving to where you're back to buying from vendors.
It was
Not so much Sysco, but you're back to buying from purveyors in a sense, right?
Yep.
So you're on the roller coaster of restaurant life right there.
Yeah.
And what does it take? Do you ever miss being on the line and just keeping it simple like that, or are you fucking glad as hell you're
So
never?
the best job I think I ever had, which I took for granted, was the corporate chef role at Sysco, and that was my first 4.5 years. And I mean, that role was just take care of our top customers, and I got to travel all over, take chefs to New York City, to California. It was probably the best job I ever had.
So you were basically a liaison for all good things.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to take care of you, I'm going to party with you.
Yeah,
we're
I
gonna
got
have
to do,
fun.
and that's when, and honestly, that's when, that was truly the fun days of Sysco. When I could take, we had a food show at the oceanfront, and I had Bobby Goldwasser, his father, with Ness. They used to have Ness and Meats, and he came in. We got an engine lift, and his 90-year-old dad came in and knocked down a side of beef, and. I just wanted, at those shows, I just wanted to give chefs something they don't see every day. Chefs these days and kids coming out of school, they're used to receiving a piece of beef and then maybe cutting it into steaks, or most of them are buying pre-cut steaks now.
Right.
They don't see.
And I don't think that's a skill thing. I think that's more of an affordability at this
Right.
point for food costs, cost control, purchasing the amount of. Here I have, as an executive chef and owner for me, I always struggle and juggle because it's a matter of what do I do with the excess stuff? So if now that the meats and everything are so expensive per pound, what in that pound am I getting? Is it worth it to buy the lean cuts, or is it worth it to buy the whole piece and butcher anymore? Not so much. Now it costs more for bones to make a friggin' demi than it does for some of the cheaper cuts of meats. When bones they used to give to me just for buying their meat.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's a hard pill to swallow right there, and that changes. But back to the food show thing, my question for you on that is, I agree with you 100%. You learn so much from a food show. If you go there with the mind that that's what you want to do is learn. There's so many things out there. Do you recommend to newer chefs now? It seems like they don't go to food shows.
Well, food shows are few and far between. I think, I learn now from national shows. So we went to NRA this year in Chicago, and that's got the technology. That's got everything from food.
Did you go as a customer, or did you go as you set up there to be seen as well?
No, we brought a group from Taste. We try and go every year or every other year. But as we grow, we need to follow the technology.
Sure.
and with full service catering, there's things coming out every day.
And we're going to hit on that subject in a little bit. Actually, Kristen's going to hit that up when we talk about the branding and keeping the brand strong, because that's key. That's essential for it, is staying educated.
Yep.
But we'll get back to that part in a minute. But back to the chefs and the kids learning and going to these events. I remember when I was young, going to a food show was all the deal. If you go up to Maryland to the Sysco show back then, it was a 3-day event, and it included alcohol, drinking, going to these things hungover. Half the cooks and chefs that went couldn't make it to the next day because they were all hungover. It was a lot of fun. And in these events, like you said, they're cutting slabs of meat, they're showing technique, they're showing demos, they're giving pan demos, and they're giving things away.
Yep.
It was a really good event. You
And
think we should bring that back, or what? How do we do that?
Well, I think COVID killed a good portion of it. Plus, marketing funds are, they're reducing marketing funds, products costing more. But I know there's still some purveyors that are doing big shows, but there's also ones that have scaled down immensely. There's not a big show at the Virginia Beach anymore.
Right.
It's moved to a smaller show. But I enjoy the shows because you get to see it. It's in front of you. I'm more of a hands-on, we do a lot on the internet, but sometimes you just want to touch it, feel it, see it.
You have to. I think. Look, you you can put pictures of food on the internet all day long, but if you can't really taste it or experience it, you're only using the sense of eyes, the sight, the vision, and your thought process.
Right.
So, like you said, it's very important to smell the room, hear the clanking, hear the noise, hear the commotion. But, like everything in the world, it's hard to put on a show right now because everything, it costs so much to do it. You can't even rent a hall right now at a realistic price to put a show on. Someone like me who wants to bring my sauces and stuff to a show, it costs so much to get in the show that you're not even, it's not working out on
Make a
your
profit.
You're going to use most of your profits for the year to just pay for that show to make your profits back that you spent to be there. It's almost impossible because of I call it greed. I don't call it necessity. I don't call it essential. I call it greed. Everybody wants to make money now off of they'd rather make all the money now off this one show and never have a show again instead of making money slowly over the course of 10 years and letting that course grow. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah. So, but there are outlets. There are outlets for small batch producers, though, to get into those shows. And a lot of it, the Virginia Specialty Food Association, Department of Ag, they help fund getting you there. They also do collaborative booths where they're bringing multiple producers into one booth. And some other guys that are already going to the show will bring your product with them to go and display on your behalf.
Sure.
Yeah, too.
But if you can justify a return on that investment, absolutely. If somebody's going to go and buy a container full of sauce, it just made your day.
Yeah.
But you never know. But there are local shows. So every other year in Richmond, there's a producer show for Virginia producers at the convention center. So that show will be next year.
Okay. Well, these are all great things and great tips you have, and maybe you can help provide for people listening out there who are trying to figure out. I'm sure if Virginia has it, so does every other state, and this because this show is watched all over the world. Really, can't really help you outside this country. That's on you. However, in this country, it all runs through the same type of algorithms and all that stuff all the way around. So I think that if you had some good points or tips that we could put out there, or if you could just tell us now, where can someone like myself or anyone making hot sauces or any type of thing go? Where can they go look right now to get some of this assistance you're talking about?
The first thing I would say is if you're a Virginia producer, work with the Department of Ag and get set up with them. Virginia Finest program is amazing. They do full endorsements of all your products, get your stamp on your label. But then I've been part of the Virginia Specialty Food Association for a long time, and their whole goal is to get Virginia small batch producers to the shelves and make the relationship between big box purveyors like Sysco's and PFG's of the world, as well as the tastes of the world. So we provide a playground to go and bring those two communities together.
So merge, and then hopefully in that merge, one connects with the other. Some product out there stands right out, and one of these bigger packages might pick it up. Is that the goal of the Virginia?
Absolutely, but also, for someone like you that's just starting to bottle, it's a great place to say, "Hey, I need a bottler. Hey, I need labels. Hey,
Resources.
I need to get this product vetted with nutritionals." So, same playground. It just allows people to network within the community to get the answers, because you have the hot sauce guys that are producing out of their garage, that love their hot sauce, but they just don't know how to get it from here to here.
Right.
And
the other thing is, can they get it from here to here without the assistance? It's very hard. It took me a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of stress and nonsense to get to where I am with my jars. And I'm sure because it's the first run, the first batches, I did a lot wrong. But I'm willing to take that risk because you have to. There's only one way to get it out there.
But there is an investment to get it off the ground.
Sure.
Because
it's a risky one.
Yeah, because you have to be able to purchase the ingredients to make that first batch, and maybe it's not right, and you got to do it again. So
correct. And
it's a commitment.
You got to put your faith in the person who's bottling.
Right.
There's a lot to it. So this is a conversation that can go on and on and on, and it kind of leads into, the chef world. There's a lot of chefs out there who I really tell them all the time, if you think you have something good, try and get it out there, because as long as you're working for someone in a restaurant, which is where we all pretty much started and pretty much 95% of us are, right? You have to get your product outside of that. So without disrespecting where you are or who you're working for or with, you need to go on podcasts like this and stuff and listen to these avenues. I didn't know about these avenues before. Right. I learned them when it was a little bit too late, but it's never too late.
Never
because
too
I'm
late.
just going to, now I've got the hard part out of the way. Now I can listen to what they have to say on the next level.
Well, see, you've hit the crossroad of, okay, now I got this stuff. Now what do I do with it?
Right.
You know,
Yep.
you've got a great location opening up, but just say you want to get into the big box stores.
Sure.
You know, trying to get a meeting with Kroger or Harris Teeter or Trader Joe's or Wegmans is not easy.
Correct.
But that's where these playgrounds open up those doors and go into the shows and bumping into the buyer from Wegmans and saying, oh, hey.
What is the, now when you're talking about the board you were on, which you just stepped down from, what was that again?
The Virginia Specialty Food Association.
So now you're throwing that out there and people are listening, oh, cool, I can just get into that. Now, let's take how simple it sounds and add in the rigmarole to getting stuff actually done. What does that turnaround process look like, even if you're involved with them? Once you get involved with them,
Yeah.
how far does it take before you're actually put in front of somebody or you see some sort of relevant outcome of it?
Well, the first part is getting it in the bottle, and that could take an undetermined amount of time because you got to go through the steps to get it vetted.
So
But
I'm in the bottle.
once you're in the bottle, now you got to get it from point A to point B. So first thing I would say is you need to start getting meetings, and sometimes it's an introduction through, we've got a lot of mentors with Virginia Specialty Food Association, as well as the Specialty Food Association, which is a global group. So Fancy Food Show, we talked about that. Winter Show is coming up. Just go as an attendee with a backpack full of sauce.
Right.
It's bumping into those connections along the way.
Sure.
Making introductions, going to all the forums and the educational seminars. So when you're sitting at a seminar and some of the big guys are the ones speaking, wait for that thing to end and walk up and say, hey, can I introduce myself?
Sure.
Boots on the ground.
Yeah, you've got to do the dirty work, and you've got to be aggressive. People don't just come to you unless you've got a great podcast and you're, worldly now that, now they're seeing the sauce everywhere. But you've got to go and you've got to grind it out, and you've got to make those connections. But the shows and the relationships are the ones that are going to get you there. It's, hey, talking to this guy. Oh, he knows this guy. Yeah, let's make an introduction.
Right. So it's all great food for thought. So with that being said, I'm gonna take a little break from talking and let Kristen do what she does best, and she does a lot of great things. However, you really focus and you're really good at the branding aspect of life, and so I'm interested in what you have to say to him, because I'm going to sit back and listen to see.
I know.
I'm
I
going
think
to
the
step out of
product
that.
chat is a good leeway for that, because you guys see brands and you see them succeed and fail constantly. But going back to Taste itself, their brand, I mean, the ethos, how you operate, and you've been with them for 10 years now. How many locations are there at this point?
We've got 9 business units, 9 stores, and getting ready to open up the 10th.
Yeah.
That one
Soon?
looks like an early November opening.
Okay.
So it's still metal studs right now. But
This will come out around then, so we should be able to,
so that'll be our
make sure you
our
check.
new Pungo store. And then we also have full service catering division. We have a specialty catering division, and we have our Taste Bakehouse, and we have e-commerce. So we've got multiple business units, and we have the cafe in Norfolk in the Chrysler Museum, Zinnia Cafe.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, and you guys, the brand itself, I mean, it's pretty much stayed true since the beginning. Founded, it was 1973.
1973, when John Pruden and family and friends bought the business in 2006, the first thing they did was the rebrand to the Taste block letters away from Taste Unlimited. But Taste Unlimited is still something that's very near and dear to our core, and you'll still find us at tasteunlimited.com. And
So all of that has stayed the same.
Yeah,
So were you there for that rebrand when they refreshed everything?
so
That
in
was right before?
2006, I had just gone to Sysco.
Okay.
But interestingly enough, we were trying to get their business. So I flew with John, Peter Coe, the founder, and a few others. We actually flew to Zingerman's in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And I consider Zingerman's one of the top markets in the world. Sandwich shop, started a sandwich shop in a little Jewish deli in a house. And the thing is an empire. And they've been one of our peers. So we've followed them very closely. But yeah, I've seen it all the way through. But when I transitioned into sales in Sysco in 2010, Taste was one of my first customers. So that I had about 4 to 5 years in sales supporting them and being part of the business. So I kind of followed them the whole way. I felt like I was part of the team already.
Yeah, so you knew that whole kind of trajectory of changing through. So when it comes to you guys, and you're now the COO, so Chief Operating Officer, and you deal with kind of overseeing a lot of those, how important is the marketing and the branding to you guys now as far as like percentage budget? How do you allocate for that?
I mean, marketing's huge. The brand is huge for us. We protect our brand and our intellectual property.
Okay.
Very, very, very well. We every day, or multiple times a month, we're getting messages from loyal customers saying, "Hey, I was just in Florida last week and I saw this place open. It's called Taste of Miami." And then you look and it's our same block letters and same format on the menu, and it pops up. I was out running last year in Chicago, and hey, what do you know? Taste of Chicago. And
So you think people are seeing it and trying to get away, or they've been here before,
right?
And they're trying to get away with doing it over there and acting like they invented it?
Right. We have a very transient community. People love vacationing in Virginia Beach. They're like, oh, I think I can make this idea happen here. But what they don't realize is how far our reach is and how loyal our guest following is.
It makes me laugh how people can go to Chicago and think they're going to get away with it and forget that you were also here and saw it, so other people are also going to go there and see it.
Yeah.
You saw it, you took it, you went to Chicago, like you're going to get away with it. There's going to be other people from here that go back to Chicago and see it,
Right.
dude.
Yeah, protecting
like
our
the
brand.
COO running down the street.
Yeah, protecting our brand is a full-time job.
And you have a trademark on Taste.
Yeah, and if you don't protect it, you run the risk of losing it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and we're always going after new domain names, and so we've got Taste.online. We've got I believe Taste.com is one that we've been after for a while, but some guys
just
holding on to it for a
got
payday.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of smaller restaurants, like, they don't understand that when you are opening a business or you're looking at a business that you can grow or scale or franchise, that you have to do all the work again, like we always call the unsexy work before opening the business, is going to USTPO, looking at trademarks, saying, hey, can I use this name? I mean, taste is a very widespread word, but you're able to trademark or certain parts of it. So, I mean, for you guys, most businesses don't understand that aspect of it, that it is very important to protect it once you have a tagline or a name. And you guys are protecting it fiercely because you're growing and you have to.
Yeah, and there's multiple aspects. Like, I think it was like 10 years ago, Pampered Chef rolled out The Good Life. And we also own the phrase The Good Life. So we went after Pampered Chef and sent them a letter and a cease and desist. And they had a year to eliminate that from their packaging. And again, it's protecting who we are makes us who we are, and keeping things unique to us. And we constantly do that with our food, our packaging. This year, one of our annual goals is actually increase our internal branding of more Taste branded products.
Okay.
So taking things that we love and seeing if we can make them ourselves or find a great partner to put our name on them.
And also with branding, you have to have the creative energy to continue creating and coming up with more concepts and always staying relevant and new and trending. So how does the new trends in dining experience, how does it affect you guys? You're a sandwich shop. That must have been a huge turn for the gluten-free world. All the things that happen like that now, that must be something for you guys. You have to really focus on keeping up with. You have a majority of people. You have to please kind of everybody in order to stay relevant because you're such a diverse offering, right?
Yeah, so we pride ourselves on pragmatic growth, or paced growth, and to go and jump immediately onto something that's a trend, like for instance, beef tallow. We all of a sudden this thing hit hard, put the whole industry into a tizzy. Everybody's like, oh, we got to go to beef tallow, and now months later, it's like, all right, let's just ease it back and let's look at the studies. And, we're looking at the GLP-1 trend now with more protein added stuff. But, with gluten-free, John's wife was a celiac. So, there's a lot of focus from the early days on creating more gluten-free products. So we have dedicated gluten-free boards, and we have and allergens are huge for us. So we have dedicated space and cutting boards for allergens, and, making sure we're doing everything we can to protect our our client.
Not only
base.
protect, but serve. You wanna make
Absolutely.
sure everybody
Yeah.
gets the same
Yeah.
energy coming in the door.
And with that, it's a confidence too. We want them to feel confident that we have the systems in place to protect them.
Make sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's really good. So, moving forward in the future, what do you think? I mean, I always ask this to questions, especially with chefs who move around the industry. What do you feel about the industry in the future coming up?
I think we're in a weird time with what people are looking for. It's there's a lot of trends out there right now, but people also aren't going out to eat as much. We're fortunate. We just had a business review last week, and our purveyor said, "Man, you guys are, compared to a lot of other people we're looking at, your purchases are up and your sales are up, and
I'm blessed with that same problem, I guess you can call it. It's great. I think what you're saying is right. Less people are going out to eat, but I got a feeling to say it differently. I think that more people aren't putting up with shit anymore.
Right.
In all the Red Lobsters and all the big chains and all these things that have just been feeding the masses crap are slowly starting to get attacked and dwindle because people are demanding better.
Yep.
And if you bring better in quality and pay attention to your ingredients, pay attention to your staff, and stop trying to line. This goes for smaller restaurant owners or one single officer, stop trying to line your pocket with every profit you can possibly get, and pay more attention to put it back in the restaurants. It's okay to make money, man. We're all doing it for a reason, okay? Even the people working here are doing it for a reason. Everybody needs to make money, right? But, I do want to live a decent life. I do work my ass off to live a decent life. However, I have a cap on that. Everything needs to go back into the next phase of this operation. The ingredient research, the bottling sauces. I could have took all the money it took to do that, said, screw it, just made money off the sauces here and just pocket line my pockets.
Right.
That's only going to last so long. If you add to the culinary world all the time, I think people are expecting that. They see it, they feel it, and they're walking into restaurants or sandwich shops that it's obvious their money is going back to them because they keep smiling and coming back.
Yeah, we're constantly looking at reinvesting in not only the tools that make our people's lives easier, but the facade to make people, and it's a lot of what we learned back in the PHR Gold Key days is, you have to keep reinvesting in your businesses. You have to have a plan to keep making them look cutting edge and comfortable for guests to walk into and make them go, wow, this place is nice. But, for us, it's about every day is a struggle to improve our processes and ensure that every guest that walks into one of our stores is getting a consistent experience.
Right.
We have a diverse staff from 16-year-olds, all the way to past retirement age. And, we have great people. We have a great culture. And it's just making sure that our guests are getting that same food, the same experience when they walk in. The music's the lighting's right. There's just so many things that go into it. But it's a daily struggle, and training is something we spend.
Training and process. If you have a process, a standard operating process or something, you have to have that because every person from that 16-year-old to whoever's in between, they may be great people, but their perception of what is good is different in every one of them. So you have to take away the amount of the perception they get. You know what I'm saying? The amount of say they have, and you have to have a standing operating procedure that works to make that consistency happen.
Right, and for us, nobody realizes what's involved in a menu change. Like, we went from changing, coming out of COVID, we stripped the whole place down. It's bare bones. We're doing what we do best, and then we've gradually been expanding out, and then we realized we've dialed it up too far, and now we're scaling back. So we're changing the menu 3 times a year, but that requires about 3 months of, R&D, of trying new products. We're rolling out a new menu on October 1st, but it's like a 130-line spreadsheet with boxes to check from the marketing materials, the training materials, the training videos for every item. Like it's a lot. The branding, it's a lot to get it rolled out.
Yeah, it
You
is.
guys have good systems, which we say systems save lives. So you
And
guys have systems.
Yeah, systems, and it's great to have good systems, but you also have to have great people that can execute them.
Well, you guys include your employees a lot more than other companies as well, because you went through that shift.
Yeah, we just converted to an ESOP, so
Yeah, which if you can explain that to people what that
it's
is.
an employee stock ownership program plan.
And you just did that last year? Or?
in November.
Yeah.
So there's 150 employees that are on the ground floor of the new ownership. So
they're all invested in the company.
yep. And once you're into the plan, you're in it until you leave. So
Okay, so they stay invested through their time there,
yep. So they have to be full time and work 1,000 hours the previous year.
and they make money off of that. I mean,
Yep.
they're
It's basically we're creating a retirement plan for all of our people.
wow, that's
great.
impressive. Yeah, I know I've heard other companies talk about doing that.
I've been
But
talking
there's
about
about
yeah, I mean,
I've been thinking
we've
about it, yeah.
talked about it, but it's, you never know in actuality how is that played off for, profits, numbers, growth.
it's been amazing, and I believe there's only 6,000 ESOPs in the country.
Really?
Is it risk still or no?
It's hard. It's very hard, but most employees that convert to an ESOP, there's a huge reward because you have more people invested in the outcome.
Sure.
So
Give someone a reason to care, and they're going to.
absolutely, they've got shirts that say owner on the back.
Great.
I'll walk it around.
I
They're
know the
walking
owner.
around. They're
I know the
proud.
owner.
I know
yeah,
the
which
owner.
one? You know all
Like
of
14 of them. Which one are you talking
Hey,
about?
I own the place. So
Yeah.
come talk to me.
Right.
them. That's good.
But
That's
yeah, the
amazing.
sense of pride for, from a guy or girl making sandwiches to somebody in our commissary kitchen to somebody loading trucks in the warehouse and delivering every day. They're just all proud. They could say they're owners of the company, which is
I can
amazing.
see them all standing around the dock talking about this like in Tommy Boy at the beginning.
Yeah.
We need to save the company.
Well,
You were there.
but then for all the part-timers going, man, I think if I can work a few more hours, I mean, we have people that are seasonal that are still making 1,000 hours. They could be caterers.
Sure.
Okay.
And, but yeah, once you're in, you're in. And then, as long as you work with us, it's there and you can continue to grow. So
Well, I'd like updates on that as you
Yeah.
guys move through
Yeah.
it, like how it goes for the company, because I think in this industry that is important.
Yeah,
And
it's-
a lot of people don't know about it. They don't know that option is there. So
Right.
that's a good one. That's different. I like that.
Well, Rob, it's been awesome, man.
I
I'm
know.
glad you're here. We could talk all day, but listen, I know you're busy. You're busy as hell, and just the fact that you were able to sneak in here, we've
saw
tried to
you.
line this up for but this is like the 4th time we tried.
yeah.
With the schedules being how they are and everything else.
Yeah.
I was really glad to have you come here and talk because what you have is a lot of information on this stuff and people listening. Like I said, we talk about all kinds of different things, and there's all kinds of different listeners, and you got a lot of educational stuff here.
That was awesome.
this has
Yeah.
been-
no,
Anything
we
you want to
appreciate
plug
it.
right before we go? Anything?
Yeah. Where can everybody find everything?
I mean, really, you can go find us anywhere on the web from tasteunlimited.com, the taste.online. We've got, you come in and shop at any of our stores. You can buy online. You could order online. So, yeah, just a great place, community gathering spot, and we welcome everybody out.
Yeah, I love it. Well, we love your place. So I was just telling him I just had chicken salad the other day.
If
so
you're
I
in
was
Hampton
excited.
Roads area, go to a Taste Unlimited. Think of my man Rob here. Think about your stomach and how good it's going to be treated. Think about coming back to Virginia, and just don't think about taking a name and stealing it and going to Chicago and trying to
Take your name. Sorry, we're all coming for you now.
That's
You
lame.
got backup.
All right. Well, listen, I'm going to say it like I always say it. Ciao for now.
All right, ciao for now.
Thanks.
Peace.
Thank you.